Hey everyone, how's it going? Jumping on here today to speak about self-sabotage and what the hell. The stories that we run, the stuff that we do to sabotage success in our lives, happiness, love, creativity, money, all of the really cool stuff. We run and we play these self-sabotaging stories over in our minds, and how are they serving you? I'm going to share a little bit today about my own stories and my own sabotaging behaviors, and in the hopes that it will help you connect in and become conscious, aware of perhaps what you're running and what you're doing. Have you ever kind of woken up in the morning just filled with anxiety, woken up kind of dreading the day ahead of you, not wanting to do what you're doing? However, fear's taken over, fear that I can't do anything else. This is what I do, and what else is there for me? What other options do I have? Or whatever it might be. You may also wake up with guilt. Maybe there's relationships in your life that you've been betrayed, or you've gone kind of out of line, stepped out in a relationship, or aren't talking to somebody, perhaps a friend, family member, whatever, and there's guilt that's lying there and it's running underneath. Or it also could be shame, embarrassment of what other people will say if you do something. And so instead, what do? You play small, you let the stories run in your mind, and you kind of go with the flow and stay in the status quo. Stay running through life, running through the flow, going with what's the norm, I guess, and not creating what it is that you really, really want, because of all of that negative stuff that's running, underlying and underpinning everything that you want, everything that you can create. However, you're not going after it. Now, sometimes it could be this underlying thing of kind of not doing what you're supposed to do, yeah? What society says that you're supposed to do. Or perhaps it could be thinking that you're lacking success. Maybe you're happy with the way life is going, and that's perfectly okay. This is obviously not for you. But you might be there going, yeah, like, I'm lacking success. I don't have enough. I aren't enough. I'm not enough. I'm not successful enough. I'm not skinny enough. Whatever it is. Maybe you feel like a failure in your life. And I want you to kind of dial into what is it that's kind of jabbing at your mind? What are those thoughts, those stories that we're creating and making up that are kind of giving you the sense of not enoughness? Not enough, whatever the not enoughness is, whether it's not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not brave enough, whatever, right? Not enough of something. Pretty enough, blah, blah, blah. And so when this is running, when the not enough-ness is running, it's running from a place of a default identity, a default from a child. Yeah? My beautiful mentor, who I'm doing some training with in a couple of weeks, Sally Anderson, calls this the default identity. And this is a little childhood decision that was made. Generally, it's a decision, belief, whatever you've taken on from somebody else. Something's occurred in your life, and a belief's been formed. A decision has been made at that time that says, I can't speak my mind. I can't voice my opinion because I'll get in trouble, or I need to not speak my truth, or I'm not good enough. In my situation, I felt like I wasn't good enough when my father left our family. So I made a decision then that I wasn't good enough. Now, these things then continue to play over, and we continue to create sabotaging stories around this not enoughness, around this belief, this decision, whatever it is that we've taken on, and is now actually deeper than that and becoming who we think we are, our core identity. And it's kind of like, for me, what I discovered through really digging into this was that it was a feeling or a sense of being broken. And so these stories would continue to run over. And then what was interesting is the mind games started to play. And then it was then me kind of saying, okay, well, if I'm not good enough, I need to prove that I am, and overachieve and overexcel and be really good at things and be beautiful and be liked. Yeah, have lots of fans, have lots of followers. I also felt like I needed support of others. So I couldn't do things on my own. I had to, have someone else there doing it for me. And so, these stories also continue to play out and play over. And what that then led to as well in relationships was a need to control. Even as a trainer, I wanted to control people and say, no, you can't do this, you got to do it like that. Yeah, so I was a bit of a taskmaster, a bit of a hard ass when it came to, structure and blah, blah, blah. Being tough, being strong, and it was kind of this little decision that I made. And again, this whole mind game that's going on that's saying, well, in order to prove that I am, I need to prove the opposite. I need to, prove that I am good enough through overpowering, controlling, making others wrong, to feel like I was making up for the brokenness that was within me. But what that was doing was actually the reverse. It was sabotaging things even more. I did a great job at sabotaging my career, did a great job at sabotaging relationships, friendships, intimate relationships, looking at them and saying they needed to be fixed, rather than looking internally to me and saying what's occurring with me, rather than looking out and saying it's them and putting the blame out. What about what's happening within you? So I want you just to reflect on this as you're jumping on. Say hi, and start to ponder this, start to reflect on this for you, because there's always stories going on. The majority of our stories are the stories that we played over yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. And so you can either pay attention to them or you can ignore them. But they're running every single day from morning till nighttime, and then they carry on again the next day. So it's interesting how the mind creates these solutions, and those solutions are actually not solutions. We try to fix the brokenness, and we can't fix it. We can let go of stuff, we can release things. Does that mean that that part of us that feels broken, that part of us that feels not enough, is always going to be gone forever? No, not necessarily. Some people say yes, it can be. Some people say no, that it will always be there. And what if you could overcome the not enoughness by loving it and accepting it? And you see, that's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? I love this because this is what I teach. This is what I teach people to really dial into. This is what I'm passionate about doing in my own life. Loving the parts of me that are not perfect, loving the not enoughness, because as I go out into my life, I'm surrounded by marketing and exposed to fear-based influences, which always make us feel like we're not enough. That's the plan. That's what they're hoping to do. So we buy more and we do more and we whatever else, right? So ultimately it comes down to the only obstacle out there is ourselves. I had to wake up to myself, get over the drama that I was playing and rolling out and the stories that I was creating. And get my head out of my ass basically, and let the ego, die, so to speak. And know that actually I'm in charge of my mind. So I'm in charge of allowing those stories to run the way that they're running or not. You are in charge of what you think. You are in charge of the stories that you're running every single day. What if you could love every part of you? The good parts and the not so great parts, which are still great. how would that change your life? What if you were given permission to really claim and stand strong and stand in your power by loving all of you and by accepting all of you? How cool would that be? It'd be cool, right? And that's really all that it takes. And it takes a little bit of an integration with the conscious and the unconscious mind to realize that, yeah, they can work together and they can support each other for you to really create the life that you want. Rather than always thinking, you know, in communication about our own message. Yes, you know, quite often we always want to share what we do and what our story is and what, you know, what if we listened more? What if we listened to ourselves more and listened to others more rather than be me? And what if we were able to give up the victim mentality? You see, this was where I was for many, many years. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is my life so hard? Why is this happening? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And this was a huge story that I was running for many, many years. And feeling trapped, feeling stuck, not knowing which way to turn. I have no choices. I have no this. I have to do it like this because whatever reason. And this wasn't the answer. And when I continued to ask those same questions, which was part of the story, I was never going to get the answers that I wanted because I wasn't asking the right questions. A great question that, and you know, another beautiful mentor of mine, Kate O'Brien, mentioned was, what's missing? Ask yourself what's missing. Because when we look for what's missing, sometimes we can find that part of us that we need to love on and respect more and appreciate more, rather than asking, why is this happening? Because the why is not going to identify what are those little parts that are missing. Because we can operate and we can function by still asking those questions of why. So what's missing? Quite often what's missing is love. Love for self, love for others. How would your life look if you could totally love yourself and come from a place of love? I think it would be amazing. That's what we need more of. I mean, it's a little bit kind of cheesy and saying we all need love, but we do. At the very core of us, we came from love. We came fearlessly into this world, creative and free, and that is our true essence. And that's what we want to come back to. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is. And what I've learned through all of my discoveries, through all of my work on myself, the biggest thing I've learned is that the best way to free us of our crap and our stories that are running is to be totally honest. Totally honest with others and totally honest with ourselves. And show up real and raw and authentic. And in being authentic, that also means admitting that at times we are not authentic. And that also comes back to honesty, right? Because if we were to get rid of those parts of us that feel not enough at some time, then that would be trying to get rid of part of us that is part of us. And who wants to do that? I want it to not empower. I want it to not have power over me. And when we continue to sabotage ourselves with the stories that we play out, that's what we continue to do. So I want you to reflect on what stories are you playing out and what questions are you asking yourself? Are you asking yourself why? Are you playing the victim? Are you perhaps looking at others and saying you need to be fixed when actually all that needs to happen is a little bit of awareness, internal awareness of what is running? What are those stories that are playing out? What do you need to give up so that you can be totally free? And what do you need to embrace? And where can you show up more from an authentic, real, honest place that will help you to come from love and power? Because that is powerful. So that's all I wanted to share today. And I also wanted to invite you, because on a Wednesday night next week, I'm going to be doing a masterclass on Facebook. So it's a live feed on a specific group. And yeah, I would love for you to join me. Check into this page that you're on right now and check it out. It's posted there on my page, and just trying to find out what the name of it is. Should know that already, but it's going to be great. I'm going to dive deeper into this kind of conversation so that you can understand a little bit deeper, I guess, as to how we think. You know, the power of the mind is incredibly powerful. And if we can create stories that disempower us, we can also create empowering stories. And that's what I want for you, because I want you to really break free of this normal sea of life and just live in your power. And this is what next week is about. It's called No Excuses and Living in Your Power. And it's on the 30th of August, 6 p.m. right here in this page, in the group, in the event. And please go there, check it out and like it, even if you can't get on at that time, because that's obviously Bangkok time. You can come back and watch the live feed later. So have a lovely evening. Have a great Wednesday night, what's left of it, and whatever, maybe a Wednesday morning if you're in the US. And I look forward to catching up with you guys again real soon. Over and out. Ciao.